Remember when Wade Barrett was the hottest thing in WWE? Leading the Nexus, he looked like a future world champion for sure. But fast forward a decade later, and the guy is sitting behind the announcer's table. What the hell happened? Starting off with the Nexus, I still can't believe the impact they had. Barrett came out swinging as their fearless leader, ready to take WWE by storm. Remember their debut? Tearing apart the ring, attacking everyone in sight. Cena got absolutely wrecked. You heard it right. The top dog of WWE got a serious beatdown. Barrett was unstoppable. The guy had it all. The look, the swagger, the killer mic skills. He was the perfect heel, the kind you love to hate. I don't know, man. It felt like he was born for this. The Nexus ran roughshod over Raw for months. They crashed matches, took out legends. Hell, they even cost Cena the WWE Championship. Talk about making a statement. Barrett's battles with Cena were epic. Those two tore each other apart in the ring. I still remember the Hell in a Cell match where Cena had to join the Nexus after losing. Can you imagine? The face of WWE forced to work for the bad guys. It was unreal. Then there was the core on SmackDown. Sure, it didn't quite reach Nexus levels, but Barrett still looked like a boss. He even captured the Intercontinental Championship. You could tell the higher-ups had big plans for Barrett. I mean, how could they not? The dude was money. He had all the tools to be a major player, maybe even a future world champ. There was this aura about him, an intensity that just drew you in. When Barrett spoke, you listened. When he stepped in the ring, you knew things were about to get real. But amidst all the chaos and destruction, you could see the potential for something even greater. This wasn't just another flash in the pan. Wade Barrett was here to stay, and he was going to take WWE by force. It's crazy to think about now, considering where he ended up, but back then, oh man, the sky was the limit. Barrett was on fire, and it looked like nothing could stop him. Damn, it's crazy how fast things change in the wrestling world. One minute you're on top, the next you're struggling to stay relevant. And that's exactly what happened to Wade Barrett. Just when it seemed like he was unstoppable, the injuries started piling up. I mean, the dude couldn't catch a break. He'd be on a roll, ready to take that next step, and bam, sidelined again. It was like the universe was conspiring against him. I remember when he was supposed to win the Money in the Bank match in 2012. That would have been huge for his career. But nope, he dislocated his elbow and the whole thing got scrapped. It felt like WWE couldn't make up their mind about what to do with Barrett. One week, he's a dominant force. The next, he's barely on TV. How's a guy supposed to build momentum like that? They kept trying to repackage him with new gimmicks, but nothing seemed to stick. Bad News Barrett, I mean, it was entertaining, but it didn't exactly scream main event material. Barrett had all the tools to be a top guy. He could work the mic, he had the look, and he could go in the ring. But between the injuries and the inconsistent booking, it just never came together. You gotta wonder what could have been if things had played out differently. If Barrett had stayed healthy and gotten a proper push, who knows how far he could have gone. Maybe we'd be talking about him as a multi-time world champion instead of a what-if story. But hey, that's the wrestling biz for you. One minute you're on the fast track to superstardom, the next, you're wondering where it all went wrong. Barrett's story is a cautionary tale, a reminder of how quickly fortunes can change in this crazy industry. Makes you think, doesn't it? What moments defined Barrett's career, for better or worse? What matches and rivalries stood out amidst all the chaos? That's what we're going to dive into next. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Oh man, where do I even begin with Wade Barrett's most unforgettable moments in the ring? This guy had some seriously epic battles, let me tell you. His feuds with John Cena were the stuff of legend. I mean, those two went at it like their lives depended on it. Remember when Barrett made Cena join the Nexus after beating him at Hell in a Cell? I still can't believe that actually happened. And then there was his rivalry with Randy Orton. Holy crap, the intensity between those two was off the charts. They had this match at Survivor Series where Barrett just unleashed hell on Orton. It was brutal, man. I thought Orton was going to be out for the count, but somehow he kept fighting back. But it wasn't just about the feuds. Barrett had some incredible individual moments too. Like when he won the Intercontinental Championship for the first time. That was a huge deal, you know. It solidified him as a force to be reckoned with in WWE. And then there was the King of the Ring tournament in 2015. Barrett absolutely dominated that thing. He took out everyone in his path, including Neville in the finals. When he got crowned as King Barrett, it felt like a real turning point for him. Speaking of turning points, I gotta mention Bad News Barrett. Oh my God, that gimmick was gold. The way he would come out and just rain on everyone's parade with his bad news was hilarious, and the crowd ate it up. They loved to hate him, which is exactly what you want as a heel. Barrett had this way of just commanding the audience's attention. Whether he was cutting a scathing promo or delivering a vicious bullhammer elbow, you couldn't take your eyes off him. He had that it factor, you know? There was this one match against Dolph Ziggler where Barrett just toyed with him the entire time. He was like a cat playing with a mouse. The way he would just pick Ziggler apart, both physically and verbally, was masterful. It was a clinic in heel work. And who could forget his matches against Kofi Kingston? Those two had some seriously underrated bouts for the Intercontinental title. Barrett's hard-hitting style meshed perfectly with Kofi's high-flying antics. It was like watching poetry in motion, except with a lot more punching and kicking. But amidst all the chaos and brutality, there were moments where Barrett's true talent shone through. Like when he won the Intercontinental Championship for the 5th time. That's a pretty exclusive club to be in. It put him in the same league as guys like Chris Jericho and Rob Van Dam. So yeah, Wade Barrett had some truly unforgettable moments in the ring. From his epic feuds to his championship victories, the guy left his mark on WWE. It's just a shame that his injuries and inconsistent booking derailed his momentum. Who knows how far he could have gone if things had played out differently. But hey, that's not the end of Barrett's story. You're probably wondering how he went from being a dominant force in the ring to sitting behind the announcer's table. Well, buckle up, because the journey from wrestler to commentator is a wild one. So what happened to Wade Barrett? How did this intimidating force in the ring end up sitting behind a desk? It's wild when you think about it. But there's more to the story than meets the eye. See, Barrett wasn't happy with the direction his career was going. Creative just wasn't doing it for him anymore. He felt like he was spinning his wheels, going nowhere fast. And when your heart's not in it, that's a recipe for disaster. So when his contract was up, Barrett made the call. He decided not to re-sign with WWE. Can you imagine? Walking away from the biggest wrestling company in the world? That takes some serious guts, let me tell you. But here's the thing, it wasn't the end for Barrett, not by a long shot. He still had a lot to offer, just in a different way. And that's where commentary came in. Let me tell you, Barrett is a natural on the mic. The guy's got charisma for days. He brings all his experience from inside the ring to the broadcast table. When he's calling a match, you can't help but listen. He's got that it factor, Not just about his voice, though. Barrett knows the business inside and out. He's been in those guys' shoes. He knows what it's like to take a brutal bump, to fight through injuries, to have the crowd in the palm of your hand. And he brings all of that to his commentary. When Barrett's on the mic, it's like you're right there in the action. He makes you feel every move, every moment. It's electric, man. And the fans eat it up. They love hearing his insights, his jokes, his jabs. He's got a way of making even the most boring match feel like a main event. You gotta respect the guy for making that transition. It's not easy, going from being the one in the spotlight to the one shining the light on others. He's been killing it on NXT, SmackDown, Raw, you name it. The bigwigs at WWE know talent when they see it, and they see it in Barrett. So, yeah, it's a different chapter for Wade Barrett, but it's not a lesser one by any means. He's still out there entertaining the masses, just in a new way. And who knows what the future holds. Maybe we'll see him back in the ring someday, dropping bad news on fools left and right. But for now, we got Barrett the commentator. And I gotta say, I'm digging it. 1 minute, you're on the top of the world. And the next, you're starting a whole new journey. But if you got the talent and the drive, you can make it work. And Wade Barrett, he's got both in spades. Oh man, what a ride it's been, huh? Wade Barrett, the guy who seemed destined for greatness, ended up in a place no one saw coming. But you know what? I bet there's a lesson in all this. Barrett's story is like a cautionary tale for anyone chasing after their dreams in the wrestling biz. You can have all the talent in the world, but sometimes life just throws you a curveball. Injuries, creative differences, bad timing, it can all derail even the most promising career. But here's the thing about Barrett, he didn't let it define him. Sure, he might not have become the multi time world champ we all thought he would be, but he found a new way to make his mark as a commentator. He's still out there entertaining fans and sharing his passion for the sport. In interviews, he's talked about being proud of what he accomplished, even if it wasn't exactly what he envisioned. Maybe that's the real legacy of Wade Barrett. Not just his accomplishments in the ring, impressive as they were, but the way he handled the twists and turns of his career with grace and resilience. It's a reminder that sometimes our paths take unexpected detours, but it's how we navigate those detours that really counts. Speaking of unexpected twists, check out this video about the dark and disturbing downfall of Vince McMahon. Talk about a shocking look behind the scenes. I won't spoil it for you, but let's just say it puts a whole new perspective on Barrett's time in WWE. Guess what? It's coming up next on our watch list, so stick around.